On the 54th edition of Salient Points for January 25th, 2022. Carlos Macias, you're the host of this here fine program. Nice to see you guys again. Daylen Kirkwood from up in the mountains with a 95% hit rate. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey man, it only goes up from here. Also,
But
I'm
very
eating my
slightly though.
cheeseburger.
But very slightly though, Daylen. Very slightly. Like maybe you might be at like 95.02 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, take some solace in that. Yeah, it's going.
I want to hit you with a rocket and introduce your next person.
All right, Deo Blas, thank you for joining us again, sir. We always you're always welcome to show up on this here fine program. We did talk about it a little bit, Deo, but I think our next reasonably hype, we might be doing like a Twitter Spaces, right? If you're down to do that.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
that'd be fun. I've kind of like drifted away from a lot of them because a lot of them are console warrior trash right now.
Look, when we
Damn,
when we
okay.
go into it, people will know quality. You feel me? Like they're gonna
Yeah, that's
understand.
what I'm saying.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like they'll understand
Make a
what
good enough
quality
headline.
is.
They'll love it. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. I think maybe we could kind of maybe work that out with Salient Points, but the format of this show might not necessarily lend itself to that, but we'll figure it out. I think Salient Points, we're gonna either have to go live or something with this show as well. But I'm pretty hyped about the next reasonably hyped. I think the next time we do it, it's got to be twitterspaces.com. But we'll start off. I know this has been, about a week old. We were just talking about it before we recorded, but the Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard, or ActiBlizzard, or ActiBlizzy, like I like to call them. But they did buy Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. I do like how people are rounding it up. And it's like, do you understand, like, the amount of cash money for people to be like, yeah, for almost $70 billion. Do you understand what $1 billion is? Do you understand how much money that is for us to be rounding nilly-willy like that? But anyways.
Yeah, they're rounding up like $2 billion, which is a very large amount.
It's crazy. Well, when you think about
1.3 billion, you're still talking about
All right,
$3 million on top of that.
Yeah,
it's a lot, dude. I mean, I was just thinking about this too, and I was like, what's the studio? Which is Sony is definitely reaping the extra rewards from this. But Insomniac, wasn't Insomniac bought for like 500 million or whatever? It's like
300.
300. Okay,
It was like
reasonable. Wow. So you're talking about like 7 Insomniacs that people are rounding up from like the amount that Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard.
And Microsoft was like, that's just chump change. We'll buy it.
I'm sure it is, dude. These guys are just the amount of money they have at this company.
And before I start getting a bunch of flack on my bad math, 0.3 of $1 billion is still 300 million. So I got to correct myself.
I mean, you did all right. We weren't gonna mess with you. You know. We
Hey
don't
man,
mess
I
with
said
you.
3 million. I know somebody out there in the world was gonna be like, Daylen, you're wrong.
Look, we don't mess with you on technicalities like you do
Oh,
me.
yes,
Daylen.
you do.
Now, like you do me. Okay, that's not me. Okay. Oh, you said this word incorrectly. You missed the Y. You missed an O.
Fire.
Right. Well, look, we'll start it off with this. Everybody was so concerned, but we'll just get a couple quotes from like the principal players, or mainly Xbox boss Phil Spencer. He did come out and say, because the main concern was like, oh, what happens to PlayStation exclusives? What happens to all this, right? And they're in talks about it. Phil Spencer said, quote, had good calls this week with leaders at Sony. I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry and we value our relationship. And Sony also came out and they said it sounded a little more threatening from Sony though, but they said, quote, Microsoft is ensuring, or quote, they ensure Activision games are multi-platform, and that's from a Eurogamer headline. After this news that Activision Blizzard sold, or the Activision Blizzard sold to Microsoft, Sony shares did fall by 7% the following morning. So look, we'll kick it off with you guys. I have plenty of thoughts on this. Start it wherever you guys want to start it. Maybe how Xbox exclusives or about the sell itself. We'll go with you, Dale. We'll let Daylen eat for a moment here on the mic, on the wax. But what are your thoughts, Dale?
Well, for one thing, it's an incredible deal. That is like a industry shifting kind of deal, obviously, because it's the most amount of money that Microsoft has ever spent in their entire 20 plus years as a corporate, tech giant,
Mm-hmm.
that is the most money they've ever spent on like one single purchase of something. You would think that they would like buy out like a bunch of other computer companies or whatever, but no, this is the big one. But like it tanking, like I thought it was really funny that they bought Activision for $68 billion or whatever, and then Sony's price dropped by like, was it like 20 billion?
Okay, reasonable. It just makes sense. Yeah,
that's at 7%, man. That's 7%,
right? 7% of that, like, yeah, it's huge. And so like the deal actually cost Microsoft 90 billion if you really think about it, but they saved a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that was like an after effect. I think that's also an overreaction, that that drop in Sony's price. But if you're looking to buy stocks, like, it's really good to buy a Sony stock right now and an Activision one.
Buy it
I
on
still
sale.
think I think both of those are undervalued actually right now. So
yeah, and I think in a lot of ways, it was kind of like the perfect time. I know we're not gonna talk about it too much, but kind of like the lawsuits that Activision is in, and all the kind of harassment in the workplace type of thing. I think it was like the right moment for both parties, unfortunately, right? Like, well, unfortunately, I don't know. Unfortunately for who knows? Because Microsoft came in like a savior to this company. It's like, we're gonna clean up shit, we're gonna clean up their act, and we're gonna pay them above what they're worth, even though it's sort of at a discount than what they were a couple years ago before all these accusations and all that came out. And kind of Activision makes out with like, yeah, well, let's get the shareholders their money and let's get out. Let's get out of this. So
definitely. Like Bobby Kotick and the whole upper management, they knew that their price, they lost a lot of cash flow in the past, like in all of like 2021. All the good faith that they put in and all the profit they got from Call of Duty Warzone was pretty much wiped out last year because of all these terrible sexual allegations and
well, that's the other thing too, right? With Vanguard, the fact that it kind of took a dip, right, as well. It didn't. You could basically say it. I'm sure it still sold well relative to any other game, right? But as far as
profitability wise, like, it didn't generate as much interest and as much cash flow as it would like the Call of Duty Warzone or the last Call of Duty that came out.
Yeah, so it makes it easy for Activision to be like, you're gonna buy us and you're gonna give us a premium. Sure, we're dealing with a lot of things over here. We're kind of, I don't know, they're not necessarily like a sinking ship or anything, but we're dealing with a lot of crap. And sure, we'll take $68.7 billion. Daylen, what are your thoughts, man, about like kind of the deal around it?
Honestly, I just thought it was a crazy thing to happen in the first place. And of course, everybody had the concern of what's going to happen with all the games that were actually under those umbrellas, and were they going to be ripped from the PlayStation? So it's at the same time, I'm happy to hear that a lot of those games that they had contracts for previously are still going to be on the other systems, because at some point we're going to live in a world where every game is under the same umbrella and it's called Microsoft Plus, and everybody's going to have all the games. So it's I don't want to say it's a scary thing. I want to say it's honestly just a big deal.
It's a big deal where it can be positive or negative. It can also be a bit concerning, right? Because like you were saying, Microsoft Plus or Game Pass or whatever the case might be, right? It's all under one umbrella. It is a little concerning, right? Because they can get away with a lot of things, right? It's like, well, we have Diablo, we have Doom, we have everything.
At the same time, you got to remember there's still laws against monopolies, including across corporations that are international. So they can only do so much with all the IPs that they have. But yes, at least a percentage of all of those IPs are now going to be going to Microsoft.
Oh, dude, they're holding a big, humongous share of like the entirety of all the gaming IPs that exist out there, right? Like, we're still, if we want innovation, if we want great games like that are not like just mainstream cash cows or annualized, series, we're gonna have to go more and more towards the indie games, right? Look, before we move on from this one, Daylen, I'll give you. Do you think? I see their quotes that they're playing nice right now. They're playing super, super nice. Kotick, well, not Kotick, but Sony executives, and then Phil Spencer are like, yeah, they're staying multi-platform, but you don't spend this amount of money to not at some point go Xbox exclusive, of course. This year's Call of Duty will be on PlayStation. Next Call of Duty will be on PlayStation. 2 years from now, I don't know. I don't know, or there will be some kind of like, because all the marketing deals for Call of Duty have been like towards PlayStation, right? The last few years, the last 5-6 years, or however long it's been. Now it's like Microsoft's like, well, now you get first content here, or the most the scarier thing I think, but the more probable thing I think is Warzone is free for everything. If you want the campaign and if you want like the classic multiplayer experience with your lobbies and all that stuff, only on Xbox. And I don't know if I see it this year or next year, but I definitely might. I can see it happening in like the next 2 or 3 years where it's like, come to Xbox and it's free, quote unquote free. It's part of your subscription, right? Dale,
I'd say Xbox is pretty good at keeping their legacy stuff alive, because PlayStation is definitely not good at doing that. I mean, they for PS3 they promised PS2 was going to be able to be able to play on the PS3. It happened for a little while, and then they were like, you know what? We're just gonna make systems without
but
PS2.
that's them shooting themselves in the foot, right, or whatever.
Yeah, and they kept doing it. They did it with PS4. But now they're doing it with PS5. It keeps happening in the next generation. Xbox is like,
Daylen,
Xbox is like, let me put Xbox original games on our Series X, and you could still play it.
Yeah, but I mean, I get what you're saying on the legacy.
Exactly.
Did you buy games through that sale? They had like a backwards compatibility sale. Like I spent like $60 on like 20 games. It's crazy.
This is what I'm talking about,
man. But specifically, I get what you're saying. It's completely unrelated, but I get what you're saying, Daylen, on a legacy.
No, now they have a larger library to do it with.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, because they own it now. But so, how do you feel as far as like, because Sony has their own like exclusives, right? But now this is like a big chunk out of like what PlayStation offers, because it's PlayStation first. Even though it wasn't necessarily exclusive in the first place, it was still sort of like you play it on PlayStation, right? Dale, what do you? And I know we try to not do the fanboy type of stuff, but I think it's fair to analyze it where it's like, okay, well, there's gonna be exclusives that are no longer gonna be on PlayStation, or just Xbox exclusive versus multi-platform. Do you believe this, that they're gonna continue playing nice forever?
No, definitely not. Microsoft is definitely in the water to at least gain the most market share, to fend off bigger corporations, not only just Sony and Nintendo, but Amazon, Facebook, and Google. Like those are the bigger ones.
Don't forget Netflix Gaming; they're coming.
Gaming. And there's also like overseas stuff, like NetEase and like Tencent, like those types of dudes. So like they're definitely trying to get the most popular IPs right now, especially with Call of Duty and whatnot. But they're only to me, they're only playing nice right now in order to get this deal done.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Not have any of that monopoly talk be in part of the discussion at all.
Yeah,
because if they're able to have COD on PlayStation 4 and 5 for the time being for the next like 2 years, the courts won't even look at that saying like, oh yeah, you guys are total monopoly right now.
Yeah, you know what, that the perception thing, I think you're spot on with that. I think like because this thing doesn't go finalized, like the ink has dried until 2023 or 24 maybe, or something.
It'll
like
be like a full on year. Like Bethesda took like that was like a year, like until that deal closed after the announcement.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very fair point to think that's like no, everything's good. We're just acquiring for almost $70 billion
right.
or whatever.
And they'll honor their, like,
almost.
Phil Spencer. Yeah, for almost. But Phil Spencer also said like he'll honor like the same way that they honored the Bethesda deals is like we'll honor whatever's in development or whatever was inked for the time being. Those games will be made for the PlayStation and other platforms.
Well, and there's a reason why things are not done on a handshake deal, right? Like these things are like contracts are in place to like Call of Duty will be PlayStation first for the next 2 or 3 years. So it's kind of like it's really like, what are you guys even talking about? Of course, right? But the fact that Sony comes as like they will honor these deals, like, well, yeah, they have to. What do you mean? Of course, it's in a contract. They have to honor these deals at PlayStation first or whatever it is the next 2 years. But when that goes away, that there's new deals coming into place, right? It's Xbox, like it's Xbox or get lost or whatever. You don't spend this amount of money to like not have these exclusives. And
they're playing a long-term game with like huge amounts of money that Sony could like. Sony's been purchasing development teams, but not like whole entire publishers, not like how Microsoft has been doing it. So Microsoft definitely has a plan, I don't know what it is, in place to have these huge moving pieces to benefit them in the long term. They could do this for like years, like 10 years or whatever, because they've been trying to get back the brand to its former glory of the 360 days for ever since Phil Spencer came back, right? What was that, 2014, 2015, something like that?
Yeah, but even for Xbox, there's still that original issue, or at least a long time running issue, that they didn't have. What is the word that they use for it? First party developed games.
Oh yeah.
Xbox has very few of those.
And now they have a lot of first party going.
No. They still don't. They have other companies' games that they ended up acquiring.
Yeah, but if they own Activision Blizzard, and if they own Bethesda, they own Doom, they own Call of Duty. Those are first.
They have full control and rights to them, but it still belongs to Activision and Blizzard.
Sure,
in their own way.
It could be on their Activision Blizzard, but it's owned by Microsoft. It is owned by them.
I understand it's still under the umbrella of Microsoft, but my point is that it's not exactly like Gears of War, which is straight up just an Xbox game.
Yeah. Are you again, about,
Call of Duty, they still want to, huh?
Are you talking about like mindset? Like when people think about like Call of Duty, they don't necessarily relate it to Xbox. They only
exactly
Activision purpose. So
But God of War, when you hear God of War, the only thing you think of, or at least right off the bat, is Xbox. Now a little bit of PC. Yeah. But again, Xbox didn't have a lot of first party games. But now that they have these additional companies, when they decide to make a new IP, it'll be a new IP for Microsoft.
Yeah, I
mean, really needed. They needed first party.
I feel like you went in a full circle there, but I appreciate that. But I do like, I mean, that's fair to say though too, right? Everyone's thinking Activision, but 2 or 3 years from now, when you can only get Call of Duty on Xbox.
It'll take some time.
It'll take some time. Yeah, it's going to take some time, right? And of course, they're going to keep selling it as Activision, blah, blah. But, we've already seen it, how it's like it trips you out to see like the MLB The Show, how that was on Xbox. And I actually booted up on Game Pass. Not only was it on Xbox, but they said it's on Game Pass. Like, try it out, right? Day one. And for me to see the PlayStation Studios pop up like on an Xbox game, I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So look, before we move off of that one, as far as exclusives is Microsoft, the only thing we can think of that they haven't moved away from is Minecraft. They haven't made that exclusive since they bought it. It's been multi-platform. The only thing I think for me is that I think it would be naive to say that it will never be an exclusive like a Call of Duty or something like that. Will they try to make it work if it makes sense, if it's gonna still make the money to be multi-platform or whatever it is? I think so. And I think for Minecraft, that's kind of what it is, right? It makes sense for the kids to be able to play on their Switch, or on their iOS or whatever it is. So if Microsoft looks at the books and is like, well, what does it cost us? They're going to do kind of like a cost benefit analysis or whatever you call it, where they're like, well, what's it going to cost us to make it exclusive? And what's it going to gain us if we make it exclusive, right? So it's kind of, I don't know. It's not as black and white, right, as I think a lot of people make it seem out there.
I have a tiny comment about that. Like, I think like bigger like services like Minecraft. What's the Pirates game again? It's Sea of Thieves. Those bigger ones that are run, they'll like and Destiny. Like those communities are huge, so they've got to keep those like as accessible to as many people as possible. In order to get that income still coming in. I think I read on Twitter somewhere the income that Call of Duty, or the revenue that Call of Duty makes on like a PlayStation, and they crunched the numbers. I don't have the complete figures because I have to like look it up or whatever, but like they're saying like if you got all of those users to switch over to like Game Pass, just like the normal Game Pass level or gold or whatever, that's the same amount as the revenue that the PlayStation 4 like generates from the Call of Duty community. So they're like, if they transition them over, it's not like they lost too much. If they all subscribe to Game Pass, which kind of makes sense for a lot of people.
You mean if they actually were like, we're gonna make it exclusive, even though we lose that revenue from the PlayStation, like they would make it up in Game Pass.
Correct.
Okay.
Or just normal sales, but
which is kind of what they would do. It's like a risk, right? That they would just have to run with it and try it out. Maybe they try it out 1 year and then they say, all right, PlayStation, we'll give you Call of Duty again, right? Like I don't put it past them.
Now the only concern that I have with something like that is not so much on Microsoft's part, but more so on the underlying acquisitions that they made. Because you could say, "Hey, let's move this whole base from PlayStation straight to Xbox," but then everybody who had it on PlayStation, they're not going to aim at Microsoft. They're going to aim at the company that made the game. Like, why did you let Microsoft do that?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah,
And there's going to be a whole new arrow pointed right at the company that makes the games if they end up shifting like that. And I doubt that Microsoft wants to make bad publicity for themselves like that. That'd be a terrible thing to do. Even 2 years from now, that'd be a terrible thing to do. I've spent like $200 on Destiny over the course of this game, or actually probably more, way more than that now that I think about it. But if they suddenly said no more Destiny on PlayStation, I'd be pissed.
Yeah. I mean, it's what kind of what we're saying, right? It's gonna be a strategy mixed in with some risk. You're gonna have to to strategize. Is like, okay, well, what do we risk here, right? We wish.
No, Dalen's right. Yeah, like the internet keeps receipts, man. Like they'll bring up quotes from like fucking 5 years ago, and they're like, "You said this."
What about this?
Like
what about this?
It won't even be on Microsoft. It'll be on whoever originally said it.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, most of it, I don't like, like I mentioned already, it's not cut and dry, right? It's gonna be like, it's gonna play out. We're gonna like some things, we're gonna not like some things, right? We're gonna see how it goes. And since it's a little related, we're kind of switching up the rundown here, but real quick, or I don't know if you guys have more thoughts on it, but will Call of Duty? This is a little weird. I see people online like, oh, Call of Duty will ditch the annual releases or whatever, and to me, I'm like, I don't think they will. I think it makes too much money, even as like, I don't know. Microsoft has been known to like, we'll give you guys more time. I think they did it for Doom, and I think they did it for other Bethesda games. They're like, we'll give you more time. But I don't know. I think Call of Duty is such a cash cow that they'll continue annualizing it. Maybe, I don't know what they do, but what do you think? Daylen, go ahead, Daylen. What do you think?
Well, your statement is, will they? My question is, should they? And my immediate answer is yes. They should definitely ditch the annual thing, because they're gonna end. Anybody who has a franchise like Call of Duty is going to end up like Assassin's Creed. You're going to be pumping out so many of the same games so often that everybody's going to be like, well, that game is exactly like the previous game. Why am I even going to move to the next one? And then when you do move to the next one, you're like, this game is crap. I'd rather play the previous version, or it's exactly like the previous version. Why did I buy this? And then you start getting bad publicity and bad press. Just you start to have fatigue on that form of game. Which is why Assassin's Creed stepped back, took 2 years off, and came back with something fresh.
Which, I mean, even within our, like, friend group, like, these games still sell because it's the annual, like, kind of like Mario Kart, right? When you buy a Switch, you buy Mario Kart. And I think a lot of times these games are like, kids get a PlayStation or an Xbox for Christmas, they also get Call of Duty, right? So I think it's in that way. But, like, say for the hardcore, for us, I don't know how hardcore we are, but we do play with the group of friends that the last one that we were serious about was like Modern Warfare, right? So it's been really like 2 years that we were like, we're not really playing it. I play them because to me it's like the summer blockbuster, right? But other than that, like our group hasn't moved on.
It was Modern Warfare, Warzone, and right when Cold War came out, I think it was Cold War. Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
The one that showed up on PS5 with the haptic triggers, where they were touting that the whole time. As soon as Cold War came out, suddenly there was a gigantic split in what was happening on Call of Duty. So again, it was one of those things they needed to take a step back. They tried to go backwards in time, but even that didn't help them.
Yeah, so if they move away from the annualized series of it, maybe it could work, right? Maybe they could kind of figure out how to go. For me, I like the summer blockbuster of it all, so I don't pick it up. I didn't pick up Vanguard. I did pick up Cold War. Vanguard, I game flighted, and I was like, all right, played the campaign. That was fun. That was cool. A lot of explosions and crap, and I sent it back. But Deo, what about you, man? What are your thoughts on this? Should they kind of take a step back, or should they?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I haven't consistently played a Call of Duty since Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, so that was a long time ago. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, like everyone enjoyed Warzone, mainly because everyone was stuck at home and they didn't have anything to do but play video games. But like, there is a time where like franchise fatigue is the total real thing that Daylen brought up. Like, if you just take those 2 years off, if they do like a yearly schedule, I think that's much more at their benefit. That you could generate hype at that same time if they do it within like the next what do you call it? Once they close the deal with Activision, I think more people
once
will
they
be
complete
hyped.
it.
Yeah, once they complete it, I think more people will be hyped about like, oh man, this is the first Call of Duty game to come out of that whole deal. Like we're gonna be super excited about it.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's bad or good, people will still buy the damn thing.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. But that generates the hype, which worked for the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Yeah, and it would be. Yeah, go ahead, Dale. Go finish.
Sorry, but they have every single year they have like what 3 or 4 developers working on the same thing at a given time, or they do a cycle of them. If they relax that schedule, it frees up the main 3 I'm looking at was Raven Software, Beanox, and Treyarch. So if they free up those guys to create like newer IPs to like do a semi-annual schedule along with Call of Duty and Halo and Gears of War franchises, like they might have a really good mix of IPs, new and old.
Yeah, I think that would be a good thing. Like you were saying, like that actually sounds kind of cool to incentivize. Like this is a Halo year. This is the Call of Duty year.
This is the year of Halo.
And well, yeah, because I mean, now all these studios that they have under their possession, you could say, they could kind of mix it up like that, right? And like they can decide, it's like, okay, we're gonna push this game, we're gonna push that game. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe Sony's like, okay, let's bring back Killzone. What are we doing here?
But even that's not as simple as it sounds, simply because each one of these companies have their own team. And you saying let's do it over a course of 3 years, that's like, all right, so 1 full year this team is not going to be working on anything, so they're not going to get paid.
No, they're always working on something, man.
Hey, man, you're messing with people's livelihoods.
No.
I mean, there's total danger of that. There's a huge risk because, like, if you're going to create a new IP, there's at least like 1 year that they have to like completely plan out like a whole story arc, graphics, artwork, that type of stuff. And that takes a lot of time. Like that one team that's working on Perfect Dark is taking forever.
But see, the assumption that Dalen's making is like, let's say the team that made Vanguard, right? They only worked on it for a year. No, they've worked on it for 2 or 3 years. They only there's a pipeline. So it's not like they're not working on anything. They're working on the game that comes out 2 years from now or 3 years from now. So there's always something to do.
I will say this, and this is the last thing I'll say in regards to Call of Duty aspects, is if they were going to do anything in regards to spacing themselves out, I think they should split their games into 3 parts. They have one that is just zombies. People buy the game straight up just for zombies. Right. They need to just separate zombies on its own. They can just sell it 1 year, work on that entirely, have a huge story that revolves around it, whatever, millions of maps, I don't care. Zombies. Then you got your Warzone and multiplayer version. You got that one coming out. As long as you have at least like a small campaign, people won't even be mad about it. You want to focus on a multiplayer with new mechanics, beautiful. And then the last one, you work on a big ass campaign game that's just one player.
I think,
look, co-op, whatever.
In a perfect world, I feel like that works. But when these games are $60, $70, which as we've argued before, I have. We're getting a deal, man. Like relative to inflation, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But $60, $70 is not much. It's just an expensive hobby, right? That's just really what it is, right?
It is.
But when you have that,
and it's not like I'm trying to buy a $50 vape pen every 2 weeks.
Daylen, but Daylen, so they're trying to sell a $60, $70 game. How do you sell this game? Is like it has your campaign, your multiplayer, your Warzone, and it has zombies. Like that's.
It has everything you want.
And that's why it still sells, even if it's to a lesser extent with Vanguard. That's the reason it sells. But, I mean, otherwise they would be an Apex Legends or they would be
I was going to say
or a Back 4
Blood. They built
Blood.
enough notoriety to split it up. Yeah. They'd still be fine even if they split it up and put separate teams on just those aspects of it. They'd still be fine.
No, they'd be, like their Call of Duty, like the mobile game, is for like iOS and Android. It sells like gangbusters. Like it's nuts how much that game makes. Can you imagine if like they put Call of Duty into Minecraft with like Minecraft?
Oh, dude, there's gotta be so much cross.
There's already mods for it. There's already mods for it.
They do it official capacity. It's over, man.
So look, I do love that segue, Deo. I do love that segue. That's actually one of the other things. These guys are gonna have so many brands under the same monopolistic umbrella, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so the last thing before we move on to kind of the other news of the week is that I I don't know if you guys could think of like any dormant studios that Activision owned a lot of studios as well that they just weren't making anything, primarily like the Transformers games and High Moon Studios. What are those guys working on? Then they have the IPs. Microsoft owns Crash, Daylen. Microsoft owns Crash Bandicoot now, which was primarily a PlayStation 1, like a mainstay, right?
What are they going to do? Make a part 5?
They
going to come
Diablo.
out with Spyro the Dragon part 6?
Whatever. I'm just kind of giving you a rundown, right? So they own Crash, they own Call of Duty, they own Diablo, they own Spyro, they own Overwatch, they own the one that's near and dear to my heart, Tony Hawk, etc., etc. Is there one that kind of you guys want to see come back? Is there one? Daylen, you had plenty to say right now. Is there anything that you can kind of think of that's
no? Don't throw that at me.
I'm gonna throw that juju at you, Ricky Bobby. What's I guess go ahead, Daylen.
Quite honestly, it's one of those things where I want them to bring back old games that I used to love when I was younger. I mean, if anything, I believe Activision still owns certain Spider-Man games. So, I mean,
it's more Sony. I think Sony's like holding a tight grip on Spider-Man, dude. Like,
well, I was gonna say, I'll tell you what, they bring back Maximum Carnage the right way, I will buy that game.
So that's what Daylen would like to see.
Hey, man, bring back some of those old classics, remake them, put them up there. I'm down.
Deo, anything?
They already tried the Ninja Turtles game, but that one didn't fly so well.
Deo, anything maybe you can think of now that's under the Microsoft umbrella, I suppose?
I can't think of too many Activision like IPs that I want them to resurrect. I just want like their studios, like you mentioned, High Moon Studios that worked on the fantastic Transformers games.
Yeah.
Like I want them to work on older Microsoft stuff. So like if they put High Moon Studios on MechAssault or something like that, because there you go. To me, that sounds like a pairing made in heaven. Or Toys for Bob on like Viva Pinata or a Banjo-Kazooie. They need a new Banjo-Kazooie game already. Come on. Rare's busy.
Wait, I was going to say, wasn't that Rare?
Yeah, and how is Nintendo celebrating like a recent release, right? Instead of Microsoft, who owns Rare, not have a new Banjo or not a new Perfect Dark Zero. Or one of these studios could make the next Perfect Dark Zero, right? Or something like that. Or the next Perfect Dark.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's some IPs like from Activision that are already that they make tons of money. So let them keep those things bankrolling themselves. Focus on strengthening like Microsoft other IPs that they've got going or create new stuff. That's really what I'm looking for.
I like that, man. I like the now you have these excellent studios that actually finally made a good Transformers games at one point that use their expertise. Yeah, there was like 2 or 3, man. It was like 2 or 3 and then they just went downhill. But yeah, I can't really think of many. The only thing I can think of really is like I said, Tony Hawk, man. That means hopefully they can keep the quality up and they can give us some more Tony Hawk. I really enjoyed the last one. But yeah, other than that, I kind of like the wrinkle that you threw in there, Dale, that it's have the new studios that you have them make better Microsoft games. How about that? So we'll move on real quick. A couple points that I saw, a couple news. I know you guys weren't too interested in this, but real quick, Xbox Game Pass just passed 25 million subscribers. I think the last time we talked about it, they were above 20. So these guys that train is rolling, man. That train is rolling right now. And this is despite like, I did see this news and I did tweet about it in the last week, but there's an analyst that said the PlayStation 5 is going to still outsell the Xbox. And I was thinking like, dude, Sony's probably like, shut up, man. We're losing Call of Duty over here. And you're over here talking about we're going to outsell Xbox. So, but we'll see what happens. Xbox is definitely, they're also like selling like more Xboxes at this point compared to the older Xboxes. That was another news item. So we'll see what it's very interesting. I hope gamers, you always want to say with all these kinds of moves, gamers win. When it's a monopoly, I don't know. I think that could be definitely a different story, but we'll see. And it's definitely an exciting time. Dale, for as far as the big news to each of us personally, what was the big news last week for you, man?
Definitely the birth of a brand new studio, Nagoshi Studios, who is the creator of the Yakuza series from Sega. He went over to NetEase and he actually he poached a lot of big players from Sega in order to build this studio of his. Uh,
As you do, as you do.
As you gotta do. And I remember hearing inklings about this like 3-4 months ago because I knew he was leaving, but I didn't know he was gonna build a whole brand new studio within NetEase. Which, if you don't know what NetEase is, it's like this huge internet company from China. So they've got total
dominance,
gobs of money, dude. They're just huge.
Gobs of money. They have a treasure trove. They have a war chest. Back up,
dude. Golden right now. So they're up on it. So but yeah, so he got like, I think, the creative officer from RGG Studios, an artist, and like another programmer. And he's probably gonna hire a bunch of other people to help him along with that. But like, along with that, I didn't realize that Suda51, who made like Killer 7 and No More Heroes games, they got some, like, his company, Grasshopper Manufacturers, also bought out by NetEase. So I was like, dude, you guys, this Chinese mainland developer has 2 really good studios. Well, I hope he has 2 really good Japanese-led studios under their belt right now, and they're continually trying to get into like the gaming market. And this is a pretty good way.
This is like the very, like, the germ of an idea. It's just starting. We don't know platforms. Yeah. We don't know what kind of game, right? Nothing like that, right? So it is a big deal. I mean, he did leave the Yakuza studio. Is there a reason why? Did they leave in amicable terms, or?
Yeah, they definitely did. It's just, I mean, Nagoshi's been working on the same thing for over 20 years. He's been at Sega for more than 20 plus years, and he was getting bored. Like, imagine working on the same thing.
Well, and
I get tired of something.
Hideo Kojima,
and I'm sure, that's the thing. That's the name that you come up with, right? Hideo Kojima. I think it's one of those things where he might have even gone to Sega, right? It's like, can I work on something else? Like, no, you keep making Yakuza games, all right? You stay there.
It was the one of their biggest franchise that made, especially in Japan. They made them a lot of money. So then when Nagoshi was like, I think he was like chief creative officer. He was really high up.
Yeah.
He asked to step down because he was like, no, I don't want to do these financial things. I just want to make games. Yeah. And then when he did step down, they're trying to shoehorn him to like keep making Yakuza games because he was good at it. But I'm pretty sure
I hope with the Hideo Kojima stuff, he made his own studio. Death Stranding, you could think whatever you want, but it's a Kojima game, right? It's a Kojima game. He did what he wanted to do. So Nagoshi, I'm pretty hyped for him. I'm happy for him, and the people he's poached, I suppose. I hope they're happy doing whatever they want to do, and that it comes out. On a quick Suda51 note, go play Lollipop Chainsaw and Shadows of the Dam. Oh man, so good. Those games were
Killer's Dead.
I don't know about Killer's Dead though, but I know
I never played it. I bought it like for like $3 on that Xbox backwards compatibility.
I don't know how much they hold up, dude, but at the very least, the wackiness,
$60.
The wackiness of the stories of Shadows of the Dam and Lollipop Chainsaw. Oh, so good, dude. And they play pretty well as far as what I can remember, right? I don't know how it holds up. The other thing on this, as far as like kind of Chinese companies buying up these studios or starting one in this case, it's always, I mean, it always kind of goes back to the censorship thing, right? Like, you want to hope that they can do whatever they want, but at the end of the day, right, it's they're part of the CCR or the Communist Party or whatever it is, where it's like, or part of the government apparatus or the whatever you call it.
They're not gonna
right?
be able to talk about China at all.
Yeah,
especially not with what's happening now.
Yeah. I think it was the only starting 2020 is when they finally let an international console be sold in their mainland China.
Yeah.
Like, that's why the PlayStation 5 is super popular, is because that's the only console they could buy currently.
Yeah. Is this a little concerning to you in that way, maybe, Dale? That
I thought they bought the PS4 as well. They bought the PS4 too.
PlayStation 4 too. Yeah.
Is it a little concerning in the way that maybe it doesn't ever come to the US, or that it comes to a platform? I think if it comes to PlayStation and Xbox, we'll be able to play it
eventually.
But if it's mobile or PC, maybe not.
Mobile PC first, and then maybe the other consoles later.
But they do get a lot of awesome games that we never see the light of day. Same thing with their anime and TV shows. They actually have a lot of awesome anime and TV shows that you never get to see the light of day.
Daylen, thoughts on this one before we kind of move on to your big thing for the week? Any
hey, I'm honestly happy for the man because it actually makes me think he's moving the way that Hideo Kojima is. And honestly, I wish he just put his name on the studio. That'd have been awesome. But having be close to it, calling it NetEase, and having it be out there in the world. Hopefully, he could actually create an IP that does actually spread across seas, so that we do get a chance to play his games. Because with him having his wackiness that is Yakuza, I would love to see his own IP come out of this.
Have you finally played a Yakuza game, Daylen?
I played Yakuza 1, Yakuza 0, and Yakuza Dragon.
Okay.
What
Like
was
a
it?
dragon.
Oh, there you
Like
go.
a Dragon.
There
I
you
didn't
go.
beat any of them
Yeah.
because
Oh, they're
they're
long
all very
as hell.
extensive and a whole lot of
They're
stuff
long as hell.
happens. But
They're pretty good though. They're
Like
pretty
movies.
good. Yeah, they're pretty good. I don't know if we'll ever get Luke Skywalker voicing anyone in these games, but they pushed it, man. The very first game, they were like, "We got the dude from Heat. We got," or I don't know who they had on, but they had a whole bunch of guys on there.
Don't worry. Next person that they're gonna have in their games is Samuel L. Jackson. He's in everything.
There you go. Dan, what's your big news for the past week?
Actually, it's more softer news, though. It's
Okay.
big news to me.
Yeah, that's all we asked for, Daylen.
It's big news to me. And I've actually been waiting for it for quite some time, but Cuphead is finally coming out. The animated series for Cuphead is finally coming out. They got their trailer that dropped that you can actually watch on Netflix and YouTube right now. I just watched it a couple of days ago, and I was super excited. I was a little thrown off by the way that they rolled out the story and some of the personalities of the two main Cupheads, but then again, they didn't talk too much in the video games themselves, so it was very interesting to actually see them with voices and to see the way they were going to be rolling out these cartoons. And it feels like there's going to be a whole bunch of storylines.
Do you know?
And
do you know if it's like a prequel, a sequel, or just?
Oh, it is a standalone thing. It is just like they took the concept of Cuphead and threw it into its own universe. Kind of like, you know, how they made that Pac-Man TV series. You know, you got Pac-Man, it has its own story. But when the show came out, it was its own thing. Sonic the Hedgehog came out with their cartoons. It was its own thing. Cuphead, they are doing their own thing, but they're keeping the beautiful animation that came along with it, and they're trying to blend old school with new school and keeping old school relevant in its own way.
It's gonna be because the game is like devilishly hard, so it seems like it would be for like a mature audience.
Hey man, why are you quoting the
definitely not a children's game, I don't think, as Dale called his number 2 game of the year. But is it gonna be more like an adult theme show, or it's for the kids amusement?
I'm gonna say it's more for like young teens. That's what it is. It's more like young teens. But I just wanted to. Well, first off, I'm gonna ask: are you guys excited to actually watch this series?
Yes, I am.
He said yes, straight up yes. Now I'm just gonna remind you, because so much stuff happened over 2020 and 2021. People have kind of forgotten, but I know that there's the trailer for Uncharted that's coming out. I hope everybody's gonna go watch that. Don't forget to watch it because it looks damn.
You don't have to watch it if you don't want to watch it.
Go watch it.
I will watch stuff. Anyway, go ahead, Dave. What is this? Go,
all right, what I'm doing is I'm actually mentioning things people might have forgotten about. The Super Mario series is coming out later this year. Don't forget that. Tomb Raider 2 is still coming out, and they're coming out with their own animated series. You almost forgot, Carlos, but you were on this for a minute. Borderlands is still making their series. They even had updates for that recently.
That might be all right.
The Halo series for Paramount Plus is going to be dropping soon, and you don't want to forget about that either.
Look, and the list goes on. Dale, Cuphead.
No, last one,
are you
Assassin's Creed.
Okay,
that was the last one I was going to say.
There you go. Dale, as far as Cuphead for Dalen's big story of the week, and I guess a list of miscellaneous stuff.
The happiest.
Cuphead, you hyped for it? You gonna watch
Dude,
that?
yeah, I'm hella hyped. Like I finally beat it, or was able to beat it this past year. So
did you play the DLC too?
It's not out yet. So
I thought it was out.
No, that was the one I was waiting for. So I was like, I thought I would finish it by the time the new DLC comes out, so I could just continue to play everything together. But
you
it's
got
still
that
not
sickness, dude. Look, honestly, that sickness is already in my brain about this show. I'm like, damn, maybe I should play the game finally to be ready for
You
the
didn't
show.
beat it yet? Oh man,
I don't think I've even played like a level of it, dude. Like I may have jumped once or something.
Carlos, you can co-op it. What is wrong with you?
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Do the run and gun sections. Try it out. And
I'm a
Do the bosses.
But like I
Do
said,
it.
I have that same disease that I probably think us three have. That is like I'm playing through Horizon now, and I'm playing through Dying Light now too. For the sequels. But
You
yeah,
just
Cuphead.
focused.
Cuphead drops pretty soon. That's in a couple weeks, right, Dylan? Do you have the date for that?
I do not have the actual
All right,
date
good
for
job.
that. I looked at the trailer. I was like, yes, it's coming out, and then I forgot to look at the date. Now that you mention it, all right.
Speaking of
The
things
TBD.
things that we do have a date for this one, at least a day of the week. The Pokemon Legends Arceus reviews are lifting tomorrow, so this drops Tuesday, right? Wednesday a.m. Those reviews drop, and from what I'm hearing pretty good things, man, coming out of Japan. That it's on another level type of game. I will be getting it, so I should be talking about it either next week or the following 2 weeks. I'm game flying it, so I should be talking about that. But Daylen, what are your thoughts on this, man? On Pokemon Legends Arceus?
I'm gonna knock you off your rails for a second. Cuphead, February 18th. But as
I'm
for
upset.
Pokemon, I was actually waiting for this game for almost a year, or actually, I guess a year and a half. When they announced what was the last Pokemon game that came out, it was like it was Sword and Shield, right?
Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they announced that, they were also talking about the fact that Arceus or Arceus or whatever. How do you? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I'm okay
But
with whichever way, Daylen. Whichever way.
Pokemon Legends.
Right.
But they were when I saw the trailer for that, I was like, I would much rather play this than Pokemon Sword and Shield. Don't get me wrong. Apparently, Sword and Shield was an excellent game. Everybody bought it. People enjoyed it. But I was waiting for this game, and even though they broke Street Day,
Oh, don't look up there. There's
I have
spoilers out
blacked
there.
out myself. I do
Yeah.
not want to be anywhere near those spoilers. I'm like, no, I just want to play the game for myself.
So-
I'm not going to be able to
so
buy
the
a day
fact-
one, but I definitely
So
want
the
to.
fact the fact that the reviews go up, that the embargo is lifted tomorrow, you're gonna get it regardless, right?
Yes, I am going to get it. Just like I got Pokemon Snap, even though that was a fleeting dream, I'm still down to play
It was
Arceus.
okay, man. I gameflied that one. I had fun for like 2 hours.
Yeah,
cool.
this is what I'm talking about. It was a fleeting
cool.
dream. You played for
was
you played
cool.
for 2 hours, and you're like, all right, that was cool. You play Mario Golf for 2 hours. Okay, that was cool.
I've seen enough. This next one's for you, Dale. So Valve did announce that they announced dynamic cloud sync, which means that you can back up your saves between the Steam Deck and your PC. So they're doing a little bit of back and forth. The last thing that I remember sort of things doing this was the Vita and the PS3, right? The Vita and the PS4 you could some games, right? Any games that were kind of compatible that way, you could do those cloud syncing for mobile to a console, or in this case a PC. But I think you're picking up a Steam Deck, right, Dale? That's coming in for you soon.
Yeah.
So does this get you a little hyped, the fact that you can kind of go in between your mobile
Oh my God.
and your PC easily enough?
Yes, so much, because like the thing that kills me about like Steam, I have like a bunch of Steam games on my back catalog that I like bought like super cheap during all those Steam sales and whatnot. And like I always want to get to them, but like I'm so tired sitting at my computer all the time, especially during the day because I work from home too.
Yeah.
Like I'm so fatigued. Like I just want to rest on the couch and do and game that way. And I can't continue my saves through my like main TV that I have. But if once I get my Steam Deck, I'll be able to transfer my saves and all my progression and like whatever characters I make like easily in between both.
Do you know which like shipment stage?
Quarter
or
two.
what- Okay, so
I'm in the
quarter
second
two.
shipment.
So the
Yeah.
second shipment, you'll have that, and I'm sure you're gonna do an unboxing, right? On your what's your YouTube channel, by the way? What's
Oh, it's youtube.com/Narfield, GNARFIELD.
Okay, there you go, and we'll get like an unboxing or something, right? And we're gonna have to have you back on to kind of give us a review or reasonably hyped or whatever it is. I hope to. All right, and I want so it does kind of. You're gonna feel some FOMO, I'm assuming, because just based on what you're telling me right now, that first shipment goes out, Twitter Nation's gonna blow up. You're gonna feel a little bit of FOMO, right? Like, where's my Steam Deck, right?
A little bit. Like I got FOMO when people were buying the Analog Pocket, the GBA upscaled like version, a luxury version of that console. So, but like I don't play too many mobile games to begin with, so this is a nice like extra piece of tech item that I could bring with me, and it's pretty versatile because I could like run emulators and everything on it too.
Yeah.
So it's useful. I like the idea that like I could have these saves transfer over because I'm so used to it with the Xbox ecosystem. Because I play.
Yeah, that's
on
right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I play on my PC, my Xbox Series X, and my Xbox One X in my garage. So all the file transfers and everything's saved. But there are particular ones on PC that don't ever transfer over. So
yeah,
I want that 100% kind of capability. Yes, Daylen.
Stay on brand, Daylen. Stay on brand.
No, I am. Don't
give me a list of games that are going to come out. Don't look up the Steam Deck compatibility.
What I'm going to do,
do not do
what
that,
I'm saying in this case is cloud or cloud save sync a lifesaver because Carlos recently had to deal with it and under the worst capacity.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'll bring it up in what you've been playing a little bit. Dan, remind me. We'll bring that.
I
up.
will.
But,
I very much will remind you.
As far as this one, so we can
like, oh, I can't wait.
So we can.
I gotta say this one.
So as far as this is concerned, the only concerning thing that thing's humongous, right? You understand this thing's humongous, right, Dale? The
oh, I'm fine with that.
The Steam Deck. Okay, so I want to get your review just on size itself because it's a humongous thing, man. Like I said, I've mentioned before, but the Switch already it's a little big for me to throw in my backpack. This thing's like I don't know if exactly double the size, but it's big.
Probably,
it's a big boy.
Probably,
it's a big boy.
Like, it's probably like 3 times its height or whatever. But it might work because like what I'm thinking is so it's hard to hold the Switch because it's so skinny. Yeah. But if it's a little chunkier, I think
gives you a little more hefty. Yeah, okay.
Well.
And I do
every time I look at that thing, it reminds me of the Sega Game Gear.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
But it's not a postage stamp size of the screen, right? Like at least it's a decent size. Next thing on here, Daylen, I know you'll like this piece of news is Elden Ring goes gold. And I do like this. We did talk about it last week that how for Dying Light 2 they were like it has 500 hours. Wait. No, it has less than that.
It's not doing that.
No, it has less than that. So also from Elden Ring, it goes gold and the developer said that it can be beat around 30 hours. But quote, it contains many dozens of hours worth of gameplay. So they're for people like me, right? It's like, Carlos, don't be scared. We understand you just want a critical path out here. We got you. And even so,
hey, for people like me, same thing goes. I'm as happy for a company to make an open world game as the next person, but damn it, too much side questing. Not trying to do that much side questing. I want a couple of side quests on the way there to get myself leveled enough to get through the game. Other than that, I don't need it.
Yeah, you're pretty hyped though, Daylen. Elden Ring.
Yes, I am. I don't know who isn't hyped for Elden Ring. They did a wonderful. Hey, they did a wonderful campaign. The moment you saw that vertical horse, you were in.
I want to see that wacky dude. Like, how dare they do that? How dare
you? Might have to level up to see it.
So that's
like
Elden Ring.
Luis was talking about that for how long?
Yeah.
the doors jumping.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. We've been talking about that vertical horse jump. That's the first thing I want to try. I want to get as far as that point, and then I'll quit maybe. Because I'm sure this game's going to be hard as hell, dude. Like, I can already sense it. I can feel it. Next thing on here, real quick. Dying Light 2 on the Switch is delayed. It's now coming 6 months later. This was just a little bit for me. My thought process is like, we need to get the Switch 2.0, man. And I think this is even a cloud version of the game, dude. Like Nintendo needs to where is our Switch 2.0? Like this is nonsense right here. But anyways, it got delayed. I wonder why. The Switch can barely run it. The Switch can barely run it, and they're like, look, let's get the excitement of the full featured version, and then we'll do the nonsense. Well, I'm sure they're even gonna sneak it through, man. I'm sure we won't even get like a big advertisement for it. They'll be like, try it on Switch. It's got cloud, and then in parentheses, cloud version. So Nintendo, stop messing around. Let us have appropriate running games on the Switch. Damn it. We'll move on to what you've been playing. Deo, man, what you've been playing? I see here that you solved the tape. You solved the game tape here. It just means you finished it, Deo. That's all that means.
Oh yeah, I was like,
that's all that means. I was like, maybe he doesn't know the terminology.
I don't understand what's happening.
Maybe he doesn't understand the terminology here, but yeah.
No, well, if it gets game tape, Nier Automata is the last game that I finished, and yeah, I was kind of disappointed. I don't know if you guys like the Nier series or all those types of games.
Well,
I was like, eh.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: did you only beat the game one time?
Yes. Oh my god.
No,
that's a dumb requirement. Yeah, but that's a dumb requirement, Daylen. That's a dumb requirement.
No.
Why do I need
No,
to finish it so many times
Yeah.
in order to enjoy a game?
You're right.
Because the story flips the script hard on you. If
man.
you have not beaten at least 3 versions of the story, you have done it wrong.
not
no, I
just beat it
can't.
again, but
No,
beat it 3
no,
times.
hold on.
Come on.
No, hold on. Hold on.
You're exactly telling me, like, so the reason why I beat it is because my best friend recommended it, like, highly. And a lot of people love this game. So I was just like, yeah, I got to play it. So then when I was going through, I was like, waiting for it to be good. It never got there. And, like, yeah, my best friend said the exact same thing. Where like, you have to beat it multiple times to enjoy the
you see, all right, look. It's been years since that game came out. So I'm going to say slight spoilers for people who haven't played it. For you, it's not a spoiler. So you beat it the first time with 2B. You're good on, that's like a third of the story. And then you go back through it with 9S. It's the same story, but from a different perspective, and it gives you a lot more of the world. And then after that, and I like to say this to other people when I said I got to this point, the shit hit the fan, and the game changed entirely.
No.
So
Daylen,
once you get to that point, you will enjoy it from then on. That's when it actually gets like to the super good point. You're missing out by not doing
it. This is worse. This is worse than when people are like, play the game for 5 or 6 hours, then it gets good. This is worse. You're asking people to play it 3 times.
No, the first time
game 3 times.
The first time with 2B is the longest time. Right? Then you go through it with 9S. It's fast because you know exactly what you're doing. You still got a bunch of your stuff that you've upgraded
or something like that, right?
Well, you've gotten a lot of your stuff done and you're upgraded. Okay. You don't have to worry about trying to level up and stuff. And then the third time, you're just skating through the story and enjoying what the hell is happening in this world. And it's a lot of shit that goes down.
Dale.
I uninstalled it already.
Yeah,
no, I'm telling you, man. I swear to you, there's like 10 different endings. I'm not telling you to do 10 different endings. I'm telling you to do
time to do 3 endings. Dale. That's too much already.
No, man. Well, it's ending A, ending B. Then once you get to ending, after ending B, you're gonna love ending C. That's period. You don't have to do anything else. Just do those 3 endings. I swear to you, you will enjoy it if you get that far. I could say the same thing to you, Carlos. You're messing up by not doing it, but I understand you're a little dainty with your multiple gameplays. All right.
Yeah, no, I will. No, just that should not be a requirement. It's not about daintiness or not. Respect my time. Respect my time and give me a full story the first time around. All right, the first time.
They're just doing different perspectives. You want that perspective, and then it should hit the fan. I cannot stress it enough how hard the shit hits that fan once you get past story B.
I'm like getting hyped up. Like Daylen got me hyped a little bit.
Damn.
Not gonna lie.
So Dale, so we let Daylen have his diatribe there, which is completely
that's what I put it in there for.
Unfounded. I mean, seriously,
it was very founded. It was the right thing to do for you, Dale. Go back, do it. I swear to you, you will enjoy it.
Okay, we'll do it this way, Dale. So, what didn't you like, and from what you've heard Daylen say, what kind of makes you think, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot?
Well, okay, so main things that are weird to me in that game is that like the combat is super simple, and like the game, like the enemies are pretty simple too. It doesn't get more complex the more I play it. Yeah. And I think it's cool that the environments are kind of barren. It's a very small world when you really think about it, like the hub world and everything like that.
It's like a little island,
which makes sense if you want to make the player go through like multiple playthroughs with like different endings. That kind of makes sense. You want them familiar with everything. But I was just like, God, I'm just like, I want this to end. But the one thing that killed me is because it is kind of like JRPG-ish, like the writing was super annoying to me. I was like, God, stop being a whiny little bitch, 9S, come on.
Unfortunately, it is a JRPG.
Yeah, which it is. And I was like, I understand that. And like, it's so anime at certain times, like when you have Adam and Eve, like these 2 characters, and they're super like archetypical characters. I normally seen a lot of anime or that type of deal. Like, I was like, oh my God. So like 9S and like 2B totally sold that game. Like 2B alone, she sold like and hyped that game up to like no crazy.
Stop staring at her butt. Move on.
I mean, it's the obvious thing to do.
Hey, I'll admit, most of the time I would blow myself up just so her skirt was gone.
I didn't even know you could do that. To like,
yeah, you can blow yourself.
Until like 10 hours in, I was like, what the fuck just happened? Because
I did that. I did that first day on the demo by accident. I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Dale.
But
now
like, it's just stuff like that.
You saying that and like it was bringing me bad flashbacks because I did play through the game. Actually, damn, I don't know if I played through the game. I don't know.
You didn't do it the same way. You stopped after A and you didn't go.
I'm okay with that,
Carlos. I keep telling you.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that, though, is what I'm saying.
Fine.
Dale,
Carlos, I'll tell you this. Watch it. Go on YouTube, something like that. Watch it. You're going to be like, oh, man, I missed out on
now, Dale, what gives you...
I'll go through Horizon like that and Nier like that.
So Dale, based on what sort of Dalen said, what do you think is why would you consider doing this madman way of playing a game?
Because I respect the perspective of like Daylen and my best friend and like all these other people that highly recommend it. I'm just like, what am I missing? Like, what am I not experiencing that these people have been experiencing that like they like regard this game really highly?
And I think and now that you said that, I feel like you summed it up perfectly. You respect Dalen's perspective. And I don't, so that's why I'm not gonna do it. That's why I'm not gonna do it.
Hey man, I fucking hate you, Carlos.
You also working on something else?
I feel like I just got hit up.
You did. What else are you working on, Dale? What's the other game you got going on?
Oh, and I'm just like working on what's the other game? Death's Door. I finally
he's gonna be laughing about the fact you hit me up so hard.
You deserved it. You deserved it for sure.
Death's Door's on Game Pass, so I downloaded that thing, and Hitman 3. So
what is Death's Door?
Yeah, if you could give us a little bit more on that one.
Death's Door's like isometric Zelda kind of feel.
Okay.
It's very good. I haven't gone too much into it right now because I'm just kind of exploring. Okay. But it's a very like it's a higher quality title for those isometric types of games that you don't normally expect from a smaller developer like this. But I could see why it got really high scores when it came out. I don't know if it sold enough, but because it's on Game Pass and it's like free to try to play and everything. But
I want so it's like Zelda-ish, kind of old 2D Zelda kind of game. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm down.
You're unlocking dungeons or paths anyway to get to bosses to get.
So it's not Link, it's Zelda, right? Because I remember Link's Adventures or whatever it was, and that was a little side scrolling, and that was not the greatest of games.
No, that was a damn good game, man. What are you talking about, dude?
Okay,
that was
I said
good
not
game.
The greatest. It was probably a good game to
we
start.
go back to the respecting
Link's
of perspectives
Adventure
there
1.
on that one, because Link's Awakening was damn good.
No, I didn't say Link's Awakening. I said Adventures of Link, the side.
Zelda 2. Zelda 2. Zelda 2. Okay. That was questionable. That one was.
See, there you go.
Yeah. So Death's Door, I know Paris Lilly of Gamertag Radio, he's been pimping this game up a lot. So the fact that now him and you, Dale, who I respect more, or whatever. We don't got to make it a thing.
Too late.
I want to try it out, especially it's on Game Pass, right? You had something else there, or those are the two games?
Those are the two main ones.
Okay. Yeah. Daylen, what have you been playing this past week? Oh, here you
go. I know last week I did talk about the fact that I was playing Skyward Sword, and I think off the mic at some point, Carlos, you were like, that game is long. And I agree. That game is long.
It's long as
that
hell,
game is, I'm trying to beat this game. I'm like, man, this is feeling long. And I feel like I'm getting to like the precipice of the game where it's about to finally turn that corner and I'll beat it. But every time I think I'm there, it's like, nah, it's just a little bit more. It's a little bit more of a climb. Now it's a little bit more of a climb. I had to go so many places, and they are so far away, and there's so much backtracking. This might as well have been a Metroidvania.
You see kind of why they had to go the Breath of the Wild. Like, this was sort of the beginning of Breath of the Wild, right? Like, the gameplay sense and the openness of it, but it's just... they're trying to...
I felt it, but it started to feel empty like Wind Waker at some point.
Which I still gotta play, actually.
You're messing up by not playing, because once you get the all right in Wind Waker, once you get the ability, once you get the ability to fast track, you're golden.
Okay.
As soon as you get that ability, you're golden. In this game, there is no fast track. You have to go back up to the clouds and then go to the next point and then drop. And then when you need to get back to the other place, you gotta go back up to the clouds.
There is fast travel.
Drop.
Yeah, there is a fast travel.
After Switch,
you have to buy the amiibo. You have to buy the amiibo.
Now you have to have the amiibo. But I don't have the amiibo, so I'm dealing with like original Skyward Sword HD situations, so I got to keep traveling that whole distance every single time. And then when you drop down, you're able to teleport to any one of the save statues that you've been to previously. But when you drop at the wrong one, you still have to go back up to the sky and then go back down.
Yeah.
Man.
The only thing I will say, Daylen, to kind of, I don't feel as bad for you doing that now in the year of our Lord 2022, is that you can play it on your Switch, dude. It's portable. At least it's portable.
Yes, it's portable,
man.
and I could save it anywhere, which is awesome. You just put it to sleep. I'm like, I'm not gonna deal with this for a bit. I'll come back to you.
So, Skyward Sword. What else? You are gonna beat it though. You're gonna see it through, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna see it through. I'm almost there. Okay. I actually just finished the third Earth dungeon. Like, I got what's it called? The fire. I got the fire.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I believe you.
Neru's fire, or whatever it is. Oh, Din's fire. That's what it is. I got Din's fire. So the other game I've been playing that hasn't been co-op. Actually, no, it is co-op, and I'm down to play it with you guys because it's currently free on the PlayStation Plus, which is Deep Rock Galactic. And the homie Nick, he got me on this game. He was like, "Daylen, this is a great game. You should definitely play it with me." He finally got me on it. It's, sorry to say this, Carlos, and I'm going to describe it this way. It's basically Vermintide in space with mining. But it's actually a little more fun. I actually enjoyed it because it's not like just a gob hordes of enemies coming at you like that. And it's not like just a shitload of mining the whole damn time. It is a good balance between having to mine specific materials, doing objectives. It gives you a bunch of objectives. You got like 20 different.
Is it like a third-person type of game, or what?
No, it is. It is first person. You got 4 classes. You got like a heavy gunner. You got a zip line and shit. You got a pickaxe. You can dig through almost any wall, and you're trying to just collect these materials. But all the meanwhile, you're going through nests of aliens, and they keep getting bigger and bigger and harder to kill.
So it's like Aliens Fire Team had it been good or decent.
It's like,
and had you been around to play it, Daylen, when everyone else had played it already?
It's like Lord of the Rings, dwarves only. That's what it's like.
So, I heard a lot of good things about that.
Free on PlayStation. That's a 4-player co-op type of game.
Yeah, it's 4-player co-op. You go in, you do the mission. Each mission takes, depending on if you know the mission, it can take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes per time. But you're having fun the entire time. And at some point, we're yelling at each other like, "Help!" or "We need to get the hell out!" Because
the only unfortunate part is that you have to play it 3 times to get the full story, right? Like, that's
you don't need to do that at all.
It's the unfortunate part.
All right, I'm gonna take it back to there since you decided to bring it up again.
No.
Yes,
going on here?
You are going through You're going through that first set of story twice, but then after that, you never have to do that first part again. The first time is the longest. Second time it's short as hell because you know what you're doing.
Wait, you're not talking about Nier Automata,
and then the third
right?
time
like
is yes, I am.
No,
That's
okay,
exactly what I'm
Daylen.
talking about.
Come on,
you
Daylen.
brought it back up. Now back to Deep Rock Galactic is that you're just a fire team going in, mining, and killing aliens. It's a simple story. And then you get to level yourself up. You get to buy different beards, and you get to get drunk, and you actually go into the mission drunk. And it stays drunk for a while.
Okay. I'm going to download it, Daylen. I'll download it.
I'm telling you, download it. We'll get you leveled. You will enjoy it almost immediately. It's hard not to enjoy it, actually.
We'll see. I mean,
especially if you got a squad.
Your taste in games is questionable sometimes, but yeah. I'll
give it a shot. I didn't think I'd enjoy this game because I'm not normally a mineral collecting kind of guy. What would you call it, Carlos?
Very few people are, Daylen. Very few people are.
No, what was the term that you used? It was like harvesting. You don't like harvesting games. That's
survival
not me.
Or something, right? Like a survival.
Like No Man's Sky or
like No Man's Sky. I can't do that. It's way too open. Very few fights in between, and you kind of get bored walking across this large landscape.
Daylen, since you're making callbacks, why did anyone think No Man's Sky was gonna be like this big old game when 10 people were working on it? I don't understand why it was so hyped.
Hey, that's not my fault. Blame the guy who hyped it up. He just did a good job hyping it up. Don't blame me.
It looked awesome.
It looked
People
awesome.
weren't
He
paying
might have been
attention to how many
crying at
people were
some
working on
point
it.
though, and said, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hype it."
Sean Murray or something.
Yeah, he
Sean
was like, "I'm
Murphy?
sorry. It wasn't my fault. I didn't mean to hype it this hard." After he's like
Yes, he
a
did.
billionaire.
He wanted to sell his game.
After he's like a billionaire.
He went
talking
on
about-
Jimmy Kimmel for God's sakes to hype that game.
He was on Stephen Colbert and he
He was on
lied to
Colbert.
everybody.
Somewhere along the
And then you
way,
get to-
somewhere along
and
the
then
way,
I
this
think-
man should have been like, "It's not as big as you guys think. I promise you, it's not as big as you think it is."
At some point, everybody got punched in the gut when you got to the what was it, the center of the universe or something like that. You hit that dot and it was like, nope, reset.
What else
Nasty
we been
thing.
playing, Daylen? What else? We've been playing some
Hey.
other games out here, right?
Both me and you, because we couldn't get a hold of Deo at the time. We were playing Halo
Why
Infinite's
Dale getting hit up
multiplayer.
all of a sudden?
Hey, because I would not mind playing some games with Dale. He downloaded Destiny, and we still haven't had a chance to
I
play
know.
with this
Fair,
guy.
that's fair. I guess that's fair. I
Not
guess.
bad.
Okay,
All right.
Daylen, what's
Yeah, I'm
going on
calling
today?
you out, Dale. Let's
Do
do
it.
this.
Do it. It's shame. I'm ashamed.
Now the other games that we were playing were Halo Infinite. We did the multiplayer with a couple of people and Carlos' family and a couple of extra friends, and we got down. I mean, we got murdered,
Oh.
but we got down. Freaking Brian with his 22 plus 22 kill death ratio.
Oh yeah, dude. But yeah, my brother is a monster. Any first person shooter. I think he had like 27 kills every match. And the rest of us was like 6, 5, 4 kills. And this guy had like 20, 25 every single time. That game is. You didn't tell us, Dale. You didn't tell us. But that multiplayer is nice. It's nice and
It's
smooth.
good.
It is.
It's really good.
That
I unfortunately
pistol
haven't played it since like December.
Oh,
But
dude.
yeah.
I gotta say it's probably more fun for this multiplayer to actually play it with friends. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
going into Call of Duty, but it's kind of awkward when you go in with a team of more than 4 because you
Yeah.
see all those modes and you're like, I want to play that mode. I want to play that mode. You're like, no, you got 5 people. You can't do that.
Yeah. No, I think we had 6 at some point. I think it was like
No,
6
that's
or
my
whatever.
point is that we had more than 4. So I was looking at all these modes that I wanted to do, but we couldn't touch any of them. The only one we could do was big party mode.
It's really good, man, and I do like the fact that it's a big revelation because we were playing and I told everyone, I was like, you guys are starting off with the nice ass gun, right? It's a pistol, and that's like nice and long range. Or that's not a sniper, but it'll shoot from a distance, and people are like,
It'll shoot.
and people started getting that revelation, and they were like, damn, this pistol's good. It's like, I've been saying it. This pistol's damn good. But yeah, Halo. If you can have some moments to spare, Deo, get down with some Halo Infinite out here.
And I know Abel's been pining to play it. Abel, I'm calling you out on that one too. You better
gonna
show
hit
up
up.
if you're going to call people out.
He's gonna get hit up. What's the other thing? Dying Light, Daylen. We're like 80%
Yeah.
through the story. That one.
We're at 85%.
Yeah.
Did you guys like start it from like the beginning, the first game?
yeah,
All the way
Yeah,
through?
Yeah.
Dying Light. It's
That's
not that
yeah.
long though. It's not that long because every time
Really?
we play, it's like 15-20%. Like we've had.
Yeah, if you
yeah.
just critical path it, it's actually pretty quick.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've only done like 1 or 2 side quests, and they weren't really useful to me. But then again, I got the enhanced edition,
Mhm.
and so I can get a couple of extra weapons that Carlos can't make. Like I'm able to make like a crossbow or something like that. I guess I could find a crossbow, but there are like different modifications that you can do that you could only get with the enhanced version, and Carlos can't make those because
It's funny. I think you're trying to like bait me somewhere in there, Dylan, but I'm not gonna take the bait, dude.
No, you don't have to buy it. I'm just saying if you're gonna buy the first game, I definitely advise getting the enhanced.
I feel
edition.
like, but Carlos can't. But Carlos can't multiple times.
No,
He's trying to bait me
Carlos,
into
you
some
can't.
kinda
What you
nonsense.
really can't do is start your own file at this point.
Well, look, I
Carlos.
was gonna get
and
to
why
that.
is this?
Well, I was gonna get to that, but before that, though, we were mentioning earlier about like side stories and all that stuff, and how you really find out how the person you're playing with plays their games. Because I'm always like, Dalen's like, wait, I want to stop and talk to the merchant, and wait, you're just gonna go off on a mission and like just go and like you're not ready.
No,
like,
we
yes.
were like, no.
Yes, I
We
will.
were like, we're ready to do a mission. He was gone. He was like 5 blocks away, and I was like, where did you go? He was like, next objective. I was like, damn, I gotta catch up.
I'm critical path. I'm serious about that critical path. But don't worry. I'm always like, but don't worry, Daylen. I left some zombies for you on the way.
He
when you
plans
get
out
with me.
no safe routes whatsoever. He's just jumping over all the zombies. He's not worried about killing nobody.
Zombie parkour. But yes, we will go to that point, Dylan, how you should take your cloud saves seriously. That's just a PSA for everyone out there. If you're playing a game and you're actively playing it, please shoot your saves up in the sky, because I had 2 games, one of them being Dying Light 1. I had like winds that were like 20, 21 miles per hour over here at my house. It was strong. The air was strong. It took out the electricity once. The power came back on. That was fine. It went out again. Took about a minute, went back on. The third time was like the bad luck. The power was out for like 8 hours, 9 hours or whatever. I took that as a sign. Good thing it was like late night. It was like midnight or something. It's like, I'm going to take that as a sign. I'm going to go take a nap. It's time to go to sleep. But that being said, I didn't have a save for Dying Light 1 or Horizon anymore. So those are 2 games that I had made significant progress in. Saves were gone. I know you can do auto saves, right? Like it'll auto upload to the cloud or
auto
something
sync
like that.
Save, yeah.
The problem is I have like multiple PlayStations, so I didn't have my PS5 to auto upload, and so there was none of these saves. For Horizon 1, I was able to like get like from a 2017 cloud save that I had. That's the last time I played the game, so I was able to kind of start from there, right? I was able to do that, but for Dying Light 1, I'm stuck. I have to wait for Daylen to invite me into his game. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start this crap over. And
Yep, that's how nasty it is.
And it's not right, man. It's not right. Because Daylen will be doing all kinds of crap. I'm like, Daylen, we're trying to do the story here. I will say this, though. Pulling it from an old PlayStation, the cloud save or whatever, I'm like, okay, now I can do the Deo thing. I can play the PlayStation 4 in my room and in the game room where I am now, or, the extra room we have. I can play it on the PS5. So I did play it on PlayStation 4 Pro, and I don't know if you mentioned it recently, Deo, but that DualShock controller, those triggers are nice, man. That's a nice controller. I don't know if you had tweeted about it or something. But
there's recently like more and more people have been like judging the DualSense controller for the PlayStation 5, because I like after long playthroughs with that, like my hands start cramping up, and it's just like not ergonomic for me. It might work for people with bigger hands, but like for me, the DualShock 4 was like the best feeling PlayStation controller.
And like I was forced to go to the PlayStation 4 with Dying Light, because I was like, if I'm a replay, because that one I didn't have Daylen to invite me into the game. I had to play and it wasn't actually that long, as long as I thought it was, but it was still like 2 hours. So what happened, like 2 hours, I was like, all right, I'm gonna put some podcasts on before I go to bed. I'm gonna play this game or whatever. Just kind of grind it out till I get to the point where I was at before. So that's why I was playing the PlayStation 4. And I actually thought, so for Horizon, I was like, on the PS5, I was like, they'd never updated this for PS5. I was like, oh, they did. You feel it struggle on the PS4, man. And I'm like on the PS4 Pro, and you feel that game struggle. But the controller, the DualShock, I was like, damn, these triggers are nice. Where have they been?
Damn, these triggers are nice.
Where have they been all my life? I will say the game doesn't run as smooth, and even that's me going into performance mode for it. And it's kind of dark. It seems like it's kind of dark. Maybe I just have to mess with the settings, but it looked darker than the PlayStation 5 version of that game. So it gave me a little taste of going back in time to like, this was a nice ass controller that they kind of maybe took a little step back.
30 frames doesn't cut it anymore.
Hey, just say PS4, they did a good job.
Yeah. Before we end the show, real quick for Horizon, I know Daylen last week was like, you're going to get to some sections where you're going to sneak around. And I'm like, I got to say, I'm a Horizon fan. I like the game. I like the gameplay. I like the sneak attacks. I like how you're just scavenging. And I don't like it, Daylen. I don't like scavenging. You're right. But for this game, for whatever reason, it's just smooth. I like the fact that you can hack the monsters.
need it for my weapons and armor. That's why you're scavenging.
I'm super hyped about it, dude, about the sequel.
Hey, I'm thinking I should probably go back and play it simply because, again, at the time that it came out, it was like right off of the fatigue of all the games being the same. So I haven't played a game like that for quite some time.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, like I said, Breath of the Wild, there were like 2 Batmans that were exactly the same. Freaking, the Lord of the Rings game that I tried out.
Yeah.
Even Spider-Man was like, 2016 was like that. So I was like, all right. And as soon as I got to Horizon, I was like, all right, this is a beautiful game about killing robots, but it feels like it plays the same way to me, and I'm doing the same stealth thing across the strings in the sky. the whole time.
I like it, man. It's funny in the last 2 weeks, like on the run up to these sequels that are coming out, right? Which Dying Light 2 is coming out pretty soon in a couple weeks. I even like Dying Light also. I was like, damn, I really like Dying Light. That one is rougher than Horizon for sure.
Hey,
though.
their
Those
lip
frames and everything
syncs
are rough.
and their acting is a little. It's
Super
like
rough.
looking at Fallout 3.
Yeah, and even at that time, you could tell the PlayStation was struggling on it. We're playing it on the PS5, but it's still a little rough, right? They didn't do the optimization for the PS5 on Dying Light or anything like that. And that one has a general lathering of Vaseline across the screen to kind of like,
I think that's just because you got a very nice TV, Carlos.
I don't know, dude. It looks rough. That Dying Light looks rough, but I'm happy, man. I'm actually hyped for these new games. The fact that they've made fans of me.
Hey, 2022 is gonna be a year.
It's gonna be a
It's gonna be
year
a crazy
for
year,
sure.
starting off February.
Yeah,
Especially for PlayStation, it's gonna be crazy.
You liked Horizon, right? Dale? You were a fan. Did you play it all the way through and everything? No. Oh. Wait, hold on. Luis told me that. It's like, dude, I don't know what Dalen's talking about. You're gonna be fine. What's the beef on your end, Dale? Real quick, and we'll move on.
I think it had a lot to do with timing. I didn't really feel it at the time.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild was already out too, so I was just like, why am I in so many blades of grass doing the same thing over and over? It killed me, man. And like I couldn't get into the story, and I don't know. It's just my mindset wasn't there at the time. I just never gave it back. I never gave it a chance after that. The first and I played it for like 8 hours, something.
Yeah,
8 to 10 hours, somewhere around that range. So I
Hey,
was like,
yeah,
I don't know.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just, and then like I finally got to that part where like you have to fight against like glint hawks and everything, and I was like, dude, this is frustrating as hell.
I'm not that far.
Spoilers at the same time. None of us are that far.
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, I'm okay with that. But I'm not. See, so the first milestone I was giving myself was, let me get past this nonsense that Dalen's talking about. You're out grazing. Get past that. I got past that. I was like, oh, I'm good. Dalen was bullshitting. Now I gotta get to some hawks or something. Then we'll talk. Then we'll talk again.
Hold on. Wait. Let me ask you this, Carlos. Did you get to the next major town? Did you do that?
Yeah. To the next.
See, I couldn't even get that far. I was on my way there. Ended up having to do some side quests with having to find somebody. There were a bunch of more like dinosaur robots lying around, and I was following their little tracks. But I was like, I'm tired of this. I don't feel like trying to do this. I don't feel like trying to sneak through this.
So I think
you could go in and just murder everything and just mess up whatever pattern they have. Yeah. But I'm one of those people that I'm like, I want to see if I could do this the right way. And I was thinking too hard about it. And I was like, my brain power was like, nah, I don't feel like doing it.
You know what? By the way, I think I'm transferring transferring. If you guys remember the transferring from Metal Gear Solid or whatever, I think I'm transferring the techniques I use in Dying Light to Horizon, where I'm like, yeah, sure, they want me to kill this stuff, but I'm just gonna run through. I'm just running through, and the fact is, like, they have, so the checkpoints are like what is it, fire pits or whatever. They let you save in the middle of a battle, dude. Like, they let you save in the middle of a battle, and then if you do a manual save, it'll just delete the enemies around there. So I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Oh snap! So, you are cheesing the game as best you can. By the way, I just want to say this because it was funny to me. Is I got hit up in real time just now. Nicole, she heard me when I was talking about Fallout 3. She was like, "Fallout 3 was not that bad."
Fallout 3 was amazing, though. Whoa,
no, I'm not saying Fallout 3 was bad, but I was still comparing.
It was very janky.
But I was still, I was janky. That's the thing is, I was comparing the quality of Fallout 3 to Dying Light, and she heard me.
Yeah, that's pretty loaded. That's pretty loaded, Daylen. I think. Yeah, I don't know. Dying Light, I think the mechanics are smoother than that. Even at the sub 20 frames or whatever.
Oh, you're saying Fallout 3 is worse.
Oh, it's janky as hell, dude. But to me,
I'll say it's a little stiff, but it's not that janky. I mean, like, bugs will come and attack your characters that you're talking to, unlike in Dying Light, or at least I hope not. In Dying Light.
But look, those are my favorite games, dude. I've come to realize that. Western RPGs are like my favorite type of game. Fallout 3, Outer Worlds was it was one of my favorite games of the last couple of years. And yes, Jank is a part of it.
Jank will be a part of it.
But the fact that
Jank
you
is
can
Bethesda, make another janky game for Carlos to play.
yeah,
But it's forgivable if the game's good enough.
yeah. No,
Hey,
the
Carlos, go
stories, they
play
make their own
76.
decisions.
You'll be okay.
Oh,
There you
see,
go.
now you're pushing it, Dylan. Now you're pushing it. So look, that's been a show for Salient Points. We'll leave it on this one. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Elon Musk's brain chip company Neuralink is preparing to launch human trials. I don't know if you've heard, but it's really like what I heard him have an interview recently. I don't know if it was on HBO or something, but he was talking about it's like, oh, it's a little hard you have to pull up your phone and you got to look at it and unlock it. But I want to connect the computer in your brain. So there's a link in your brain to your phone. And this is kind of what it is. They are out here advertising it. It says, quote, "You'll work closely with some of the most innovative doctors and top engineers, as well as working with Neuralink's first clinical trial participants. You will lead and help build the team responsible for enabling Neuralink's clinical research activities and developing the regulatory interactions that come with the fast-paced and ever-evolving environment." Daylen, are you gonna try to get into this trial here, man, and get something hooked up to your
Carlos,
brain?
we already know you signed up for it, but you know too many people out there are complaining about Bill Gates. Look at Elon Musk. All right, that's all I gotta say about
Dale,
that.
are you gonna try to get in on this trial here?
Hell no, they don't belong in my brain. Keep that shit out of
They don't belong anywhere underneath my skin. All right.
Yeah,
As a matter of
want
fact, I don't even need a chip on my skin
I didn't even
unless
know
it's
this
to
was a
open a
thing.
door.
Yeah. No, there are. I think there's a trial for like a major corporation where their security is tied to like a chip that's embedded in their palm, so they have to like touch like a pad instead of like a key card or something like that to do it. And I'm like, oh, dude, no way.
Yeah, what's gonna happen when you get fired? You're gonna have to get that thing removed.
Daylen, you said
like, what's the benefit of this?
Dan, you said I'm already signed up for this. Hell no, man. What the? I'm gonna have a chip in my brain? No,
Yeah,
they're
Hell
wilding
no,
with
man.
this.
Exactly.
They're wilding with
You're
this.
asking stupid questions. Stupid. No.
You know what,
All right.
Elon? You need to relax, man. When is that
You're
tunnel?
wilding
When is
out,
that-
you billionaire asshole.
When is that tunnel? When is
Oh.
that tunnel gonna? I know, Dan. You got a little testy out there. That's it for Salient Points number 54. I'm Carlos Bacilas, your host of this here fine program. Daylen Kirkwood from up in the mountains. Thank you for joining us.
Sync your
again,
cloud
sir.
game saves.
Please do. Don't let a surge take your saves out. Learn from me. Especially, yeah, it's just painful. Deo Blas, congratulations on all them Bay Area W's. And Steph Curry finally got himself a game winner, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Thank
you know.
Thank you for the.
So Deo, thanks for joining us, man. We'll see you.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys next time. Latest.